like brilliant minds, got to work with people who are working on DIDs that opened up our brains about what is the potential of DIDs. As Abhinav was explaining, that DIDs globally, irrespective of who is generating it, DIDs are something, an identifier that is not generated by central authority, that you can self-generate based on certain particular properties. What that implies is your Aadhaar number is the number that is randomly generated by DI and attached to your information. But if the central authority that generated and attached it did not remember what it attached what to, then that identity is useless. But if I created an identity based on certain immutable aspects of you, where you were born, who your parents are, what is the date of birth, that never change. Maybe your name changes, maybe your address changes. If I take these, hash them up, create an identifier, it remains a constant, right? Unless there is a person who was born at the exact place, exact time, with the exact parents. So that's not possible, right? So like you never have a clash when you create a DID, irrespective of where you're creating it, what chain you're creating it. Since you're self-generating, it's not the chain generating, it's not like a central authority generating it. You can never have a clash between two like DIDs, and that's the OG part. But yeah, moving on from that.
A small doubt in that. Sorry to cut you off. So I understood what DIDs are, but say for example, I know Mirza, right? And if he's generating DIDs on the basis of his parents' name or his name or where he stays, these informations I can somehow get it, right? So are these DIDs generated based on information that is not available to the public, or is it something else?
No, you can generate this information like the identifier based on information that is available to the public. You can like dig up Mirza and figure out where he lived and like who his parents were, what time he was born, and anyone can generate that identifier. But they are just generating the identifier. They're not generating the ID card itself, right? So when they generate that identifier, they're basically figuring out what to call Mirza on the internet. They're not figuring out that this is the identifier ID card that I hold in my pocket, right? So like anyone can generate it. The controller for this identifier, the controller for this ID is any person who like says that they are the controller. But you have to have what we call a verifiable storage of information for DIDs to work, in this case blockchain, where you come and you register yourself, hey, I'm the person, I'm the controller for this. And if it's and you control it through certain authentication mechanisms, like you have the address linked with it that you utilize to like proof control over this particular identifier. Anyone can generate it, but generation part will only lead to the reference, the ID, not the control of the identifier.
How can you explain it once more? Like, how do you prove that I am the controller of the DID or something?
Whenever you generate the DID, right? Like there are two kinds of DIDs that you can generate. One is called self-sovereign. Self-sovereign is that you issue it to yourself, and then like you become the controller of it. You say, hey, this is the identifier, this is the document, this is a set of information, and I'm attaching a authentication mechanism. Authentication could be a list of different mechanisms. One of this could be a cryptographic address. You sign something with that address, and then you say, I control it, right? But this is a self-sovereign one. You have issued it to yourself. So what that implies is you have, although you've issued it to yourself, there is no authority or central entity that is saying that this is a correct one. So for example, you can go to a college and generate a DID saying that this is my college degree, and you can issue it to yourself and control it, but it would not hold any value unless your college comes and attests it. It adds a verifiable claim to it. We call it VCs, verifiable claim. So if you add,
stamps it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Stamps it. You can generate it. You can name it. You can, before passing a college, generate the degree. But only when you pass it will the college come and stamp it, and that will give authenticity to it. So that is self-issued, self-sovereign identities. Now there are issued identities. So your government can come and issue you an identity and make you the controller of it. And after it has done so, after it has issued and made you the controller, even the government or the issuing entity cannot mess with it, because you are the only person that controls the authentication mechanism.